Well, here we are, where PROSE presents... Simtex software production. Now, what we're going to play today is Master of Orion. One of my favorite games of all time. Well, it was until the second sequel came out. This is the opening sequence. They obviously look like Klingon war cruisers. Sorry, I don't have the exact terminology in mind. Whatever. This is one of the first games that my dad played when he got his first IBM clone PC, and he said he played it till about 5 o'clock in the morning, and through goodoldgames.com, GOG.com, I was able to get this version, $6 for this game and the sequel, which I'll probably cover some other time. Yeah, it's great. This is probably the best emulation of it I've ever seen, and it just uses DOSBox, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, this is one of my favorite games, space strategy. They haven't really done anything like it. We'll cut away from here, but this is Steven Barcia, who later went on to work on Metroid Prime. He co-founded Retro Games, now he works at EA or something like that. Anyway, here's a load screen. Master of Orion is basically a strategy game, 4X, expand, exploit, exterminate, and something else. You can check it out. But what we're going to do is we're going to start a new game, because that's what we do here. You know, surprisingly, you know, huge galaxy here isn't that huge, but we'll go for it. Difficulty, we're gonna... impossible! We'll go for average. Opponents, we'll bring it down to 3. When you have more than that, most, you know, some of the smaller species get cramped up in a corner, and then they're not fun to play with. And here's all our races. Now, a lot of these they wanted to cut out of Master of Orion 3 because they just seemed like humans in, you know, suits. And that's not really any sort of surprise. Only a few of them actually look like aliens. Whatevs. Anyway, I usually play as the Klakens. They're the insect producers. Pretty sick. Sick, I should say. Sick! Cat people. These guys can land on any planet. Sakras are rabbits, except reptilian ones. Reptilian rabbits! Cylons are really smart. Alkari are the birds, better. You get the idea. Borathi are big bears. Meklar have basically, you know, not wanted to have bodies anymore, so they just replace themselves with robotics. And Daleks are spies. I don't know why anyone would choose those. I'm going to be blue since it's my favorite color. My name is... friggin' awesome. No. Friggin' Oz. Homeworld is always prime. Do as it loads. Loading the thing. Doing that stuff. Yeah. Alright, so what we have here, this is kind of the main galaxy view. We're going to click around. All these different colored stars are of different ages and stuff like that. And ideally, we're going to want to conquer all of them. Or as many as we possibly can. We'll see how that goes. We'll go to the main map here. As you can see, we're kind of alone in a sea of, well, a lot of stuff. Different size. We can sort by environment. Since we haven't explored anything, of course, we don't know what's out there. Mineral, you know, bonuses, stuff like that. Go to colonies. There's 3 other races out there. This is kind of a crazy thing because it already tells us what they are, even though we haven't even met them. So we'll go back to our planet. Now, as you'll see here, we've got our little ship in orbit. It's actually the group. When there's, no matter how many ships you have in orbit, they have a single icon that covers basically all of that. So we have a colony ship, which will allow us to colonize any other star, and we have 2 scouts. They have reserve fuel tanks, so they can go farther than basically any other ship. So we'll use them to explore. I'll send 1 group over to some red-looking star. Can we go that far? That's too far. 4 parsecs. So accept. Send 1 off this way, because I like to send off, you know, scouts in opposite directions. These are where we're dedicating our resources on each planet. Now, each system, despite having, you know, usually multiple planets in real life that we know of anyway, only have 1 star in this game. Now, they brought that up in Master of Orion 2, where you could have, I think, like 5 or 6 different planets in that. But for the sake of simplicity, and I think that ended up making this game a little bit better, is that they kind of cut out the, you know, boring stuff. Because Master of Orion 2 was an improvement in this game in any sense of the word of gameplay, but it was also a lot more, you know, boring. You had a lot of micromanage a lot, and the art direction was really boring. You miss a lot of the bright, colorful stuff that you see in here. Now this is turn-based, so we make our decisions, and much like Civilization, we hit next turn. As you can see, slowly, they're kind of going throughout the galaxy. Now, with that colony ship found a place that we could land on, and we want to build a new colony? Sure, yeah. We've got artifacts here as well, so we'll hit yes. In 2301, the Klekens form a new colony. You've already seen that. I'm going to call it Amazing Land. Amazing Land, local area network. That's friggin' sick. Amazing Land. Oh, so these are, you know, those ruins I was talking about? This is research that they found on there. 2 levels of defense, blah, 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 blah. Better against missile defense. Now, there's Amazing Land. Now, one trick I like to do up front, this is the transport button. You can send millions of colonists to a colony to kind of help boost their, you know, population, basically. So accept. It's going to take 2 turns to get there. This scout's still probably 1 turn away from where he's going. This colony from there. Awesome. We'll start exploring. I'll send him this way. Now Prime here, we'll cut down on their industry a little bit. They'll go to waste. And we'll come up with some scouts, so we can send more out. Now this is the research panel. We'll go through and, you know, just pick stuff to research, because that sounds cool. At this point I usually just pick stuff, but since this is the first time I've ever dedicated any resources to research, it's going to have me pick everything. Explain more of this. Toxic planets. That's the one they found here. 3 parsecs, but we can't put a colony. Now, we'll go back to the map. Now, it's talked about environments. Now, we can only colonize so many different kinds of environments just because we don't have the technology to land on it. Like, in real life, we couldn't sit there and land on a planet that was entirely magma. So, what you saw in the research tree was to research barren, you know, and there's all the way up to radiated. Now, if we're playing silicoids, we could colonize basically anything except for none, which means that there's no planets there in the first place. So we look at the map, and that first planet we found was Steppe, right here, so we could colonize it. But this P1 that we found is a toxic planet, so we can't colonize that yet. In time, we'll invent that, well, research, I guess invent that technology that would allow us to land on that planet. But for now, we're kind of stuck with what we got. Colony's on the way. Here's your scout. I don't know why I did that. If we do that on this planet, you'll see industrial plants here, populations. We'll also have missile bases up here, as well as fleet in orbit, since we only have 1 ship that we're building, and the rest of the pre-mades are pretty rubbish usually. We'll just keep scouting. Send you away. How far can we go? We can go that far. That's amazing. Found some more stuff. There's another scout. Woot woot woot. Ingamoose. Bam. Sending out another scout to this world, so you can see that we're sending out just more and more junk. Now here's a nebula. Usually doesn't have any issues, but you know, it's a pretty exciting little thing. It's because it's a nebula, it's going to take longer to get stuff in and out of. So if we send a ship from here, Amazing Land, to this green world, it's going to go like zing, not going to be able to make it through it. And my time is almost up, unfortunately, so we're going to call it right here. Hope you enjoyed. Next part coming soon.